You finished your epoxy project. Now, how do you clean your tools? We're going to give you all those answers, all the tips and tricks, and more right now. You can visit us anytime at stonecoatcountertops.com. Enjoy the video. Okay guys, we get asked all the time, how do I clean my tools when I'm done with a Stone Coat Countertop epoxy project? We're going to tell you right now. First thing is your buckets. What we like to do with these buckets is don't throw them away. There's so many good uses for them. Even after they're torn and tattered and beat up and you made a sample piece, you can actually use them after you've poured a sample to hold that sample and become a stand. You can also use them for old tools or screws and nuts and bolts and all kinds of different things, even after it's got dried epoxy. But if you let the epoxy dry in it and you actually turn that bucket over, let it spill out. This one we actually left a brush right in there. You can let it all dry and then you can work that brush right out. So you can see that most of that epoxy, because it's not a sanded surface, will just come right out. But you want to let it dry for a few days and then you can recycle your buckets. When you're going to do a brand new clear coat, a top coat, your final touch, you don't want to use an old bucket because there'll be little chunks and stuff like that possibly left in that bucket that you'll mix, trowel out, chop, and you'll have a little chunk in there. If it's your first coat, it doesn't really matter. You're going to sand, you'll never see something like that. So recycle those buckets. You can clean them with acetone, but you'll use more acetone than that bucket's worth. So we just let it dry. Second thing is your trowels. When you're using your 1/8 by 1/8 square notch trowel, you're going to have goo and grime and epoxy get all over the surface. It'll still stand up, it'll still run away from those teeth, and that's all that matters. Is if these teeth stay clean, this thing can be used over and over again with that epoxy left on it. You can peel that off as it builds up, but you really don't need to. We just let them all build up, and they actually got character at that point. Next subject is your drill paddle. So your drill paddle is going to get nibs of epoxy that just grow on it because you let that drip off. And after we've mixed, we'll usually take an old bucket and we'll just set that drill paddle right over it. Or you can take that drill paddle off and put it in an old bucket, let it dry, and pull it out. But if you keep it in the drill and just let it drip in that drill bucket, you'll just get these little stalactites that grow on it, and that actually helps mix better anyways, in my opinion. So we don't clean this off. They last a very long time and they look really cool. When it gets built up really, really big, you can use a razor knife and work on that, but you can get rid of it and get another one. They're about $6 at Home Depot, but you get a lot of life out of them. Okay, next subject. How do I keep my torch head clean? If you get a lot of epoxy around this point or this point, you're going to glue that down, and so you'll have a problem. And so you don't want to get a lot of epoxy around those buttons. So what we always do, and you'll see in the videos, is we usually have one of these paper towels in our hand, and we'll have gloves on our hand. That's important. Wear gloves. Keep those hands clean. But that's coming up in a minute. Wipe your hands, wipe your gloves, and then handle your torch. If you dip your hands in your epoxy and you're moving and shaking and doing things in the epoxy, just get most of that epoxy off your fingers and then operate the torch. That's a great tip. All right, we're on to our hands. Wear gloves. That's really important. You don't want to get epoxy on your skin and leave it there and get sticky and everything else. So wear gloves, protect your hands and your skin. And if you don't and you get some on your hands, we found that this soap works really good. We get this at Home Depot as well. It works really good, especially before you get your hands wet with water. Use some of that, really scrub, get it off, and then rinse it with cool water. Actually works good, and then switch to hot. That's how we like to clean our hands. Okay. Your brushes. So let's say you want to save this brush. Right now it's rock hard. That's because we left it and it dried. If you want to salvage this brush, you simply take some acetone. You need to put it in a bucket and have a tight seal on that bucket. Then you could throw your brushes in that acetone bucket and you can use them over and over again on pieces that are your first coat. If you use an old brush that's been in acetone on your second coat, your clear coat, you risk getting chunks and boogers from that brush into your finished coat. Same principle as that bucket. We like to use a new brush for that second coat, but I can make many, many samples out of a used brush. But be careful, if you're going to use glitter or you're going to use mica flakes, sometimes those will embed in those bristles, especially the fine glitter, and you'll chopping out a piece that you don't want glitter in, and you're recycling a brush, you could risk getting glitter. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you're going to use your brushes over and over again. Let's talk about the floor and how to mask off. We like to use ram board. This is a good heavy duty product and the material doesn't leak through it. We haven't had any issues with ram board. We really like it. If you want to get real crazy in your shop like we do, we like to get sheets of masonite and put that down for long-term protection. But just on a job site, ram board works great. Moving on to the table, we love using 3mm plastic instead of paper. The reason we do that is because it actually will pick up right off that plastic, just like that. And you can see, you can use that plastic over and over again because your epoxy waste will come right off of it. And it keeps that surface nice and level. And I gotta tell you, if you're having a bad day, this is therapeutic, seriously. You literally start pulling this off your table and it becomes like addictive. Okay, that about covers how we address cleaning our tools, taking care of the masking, taking care of our hands, cleaning our brushes, and so on. We appreciate you watching this video. Call us anytime for free project support, 541-450-1976. Until next time, from Stone Coat Countertops, you got this. Keep it clean. We'll see you soon. Did you find this video helpful? Give us a thumbs up. Comment below. What would you like to see next in our Helpful Hints videos? Also, hit that red button and subscribe anytime.